Former three-time state senator Erica Smith has recently announced that she is running for U.S. Senate in North Carolina. Here's what she had to say in her launch video. Take a look.
Life hasn't always been easy for me. My father was in the Air Force and I was born at Fort Bragg Army Base. My mom raised the six of us and we grew up picking cucumbers and corn on the family farm. I don't come from wealth. I come from hard work. Farming was difficult and so was growing up black in the South. I know what it means to struggle, to fight the kind of fights that so many families across North Carolina are fighting today. Against eviction, against poverty, against crippling medical bills, against floods and storms that are claiming lives and livelihoods across the state. But who's really on the other side of that fight? How many of these politicians have ever wanted for anything in their lives? I'm Erica Smith. I'm an engineer, educator, minister, and three-term state senator. I understand the dignity of work, the value of faith, and the importance of serving our communities. We've seen the cost of a morally bankrupt system that fails to represent us. We've seen what happens when North Carolina Democrats don't nominate candidates who reflect the experiences or the diversity of our state. We need something different because our survival depends on it. That's why I'm running for the United States Senate, because I believe it's past time for government to work for all of us instead of just the wealthy and the well-connected. I'm not taking a dime from corporations, their PACs or fossil fuel companies, because those guys already have enough servants in D.C. We have a government that grants billionaires tax cuts, yet fails to ensure workers a living wage. But it doesn't have to be like this. We can strengthen unions and raise wages to create a 21st century middle class. We can create a healthcare system that at long last prioritizes people over profits and puts an end to the days when a family goes bankrupt because someone got sick. We can and we must choose workers over big oil and combat the climate crisis by creating millions of new jobs in the energy system of the future. We can build a different North Carolina. One that loves us back the same way we love it. One where it doesn't matter whether you're white, black, or brown. Whether you were born in the rural West, the rural East, or any of the towns and cities in between. One where everyone can live with dignity and retire with it too. We are building a North Carolina where our God-given potential will be enhanced by a system meant to lift us up and not squandered by one meant to hold us down. A North Carolina that works for all of us. Join us, and together we can transform this state and change the world.
We all know, just based on the launch video, she's a progressive, but her running for Senate is a great thing. Not only because she is a progressive, but because she supports Medicare for all, which would ensure everybody and eliminate co-pays. She also supports the Green New Deal, which would create millions of green jobs, including in North Carolina. She supports legalizing marijuana and raising the minimum wage to $15 or more, because she said in her website that $15 is the floor. So, you have these conservatives, Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, voting against it. She will be a yes vote for the $15 minimum wage. Now you may ask, wait, how will she win in a red state? Well, number one, North Carolina isn't as red a state as you think. Cal Cunningham, a corporate Democrat, almost won there. Now imagine if a progressive running on a popular platform that most North Carolinians and people support, then she'd win. Also, a poll last year said that she'd beat Tom Tillis by 7 points. She'd also use the Stacey Abrams method, which would get her into Congress because it's proven. They used it in Georgia, 2 Democratic senators. Last election cycle, they had 2 Republican senators. Also, it'd be great if she would get into Congress because she'd be the progressive that supports the progressive policies and would help progress happen. Joe Manchin and other corporate Democrats stopped meaningful change because they're conservative. But with Erica there, she'd help the meaningful legislation such as the PRO Act, such as For the People Act, and such as gun control, the minimum wage, pass, because she'd help it get over the voting threshold by being in favor of that, and thus making Joe Manchin, null. Last thing before we go, I just want to say, Erica Smith will be a senator that will be a progressive with integrity, with character, and who is all about results and not rhetoric. The links to her website and donation page will be in the link in the description below. Vote Erica Smith and let's help her win the primary and then the general election to elect one of the best progressives in the nation to the U.S. Senate.